Hola a todas. Today's class we're going to page 62, so página 62. And today what we're doing is called the affirmative imperative, the informal style. So that's just a posh way of saying orders, and they're positive orders, meaning when you tell somebody to do something. So this is asking somebody to do something or giving instructions or advice or asking for something to be done. The first one we're going to look at is the to form. So it's called informal because it's to somebody that you know. It's not like talking to the Pope, el Papa. So this would be to your parents, to your friends, etc. The to form. So how do we form it? Well, you go to your present tense. So I just put over here your normal present tense, the verb hablar. So I speak is hablo, then you speak hablas, and then he, she, it speaks is habla. And that's the one that you use to give an order or an instruction to somebody. That's a friend, etc. Okay, so if we go back to the page then, you have, just as we said, so the verb hablar, the he, she person is habla. So that's what you say to a friend then, speak. You'd say habla. If it's an or verb, it's the third person singular, the he, she one. So come. So if you have younger brothers and sisters, you'd say to one of them, come. So eat. If it's an I or verb, you go to the he, she, it person, which is escribe. Right. So if I said to one of you, write a letter, I would say, escribe una carta. So tu, for talking to one person to do an order, it's the one that we normally use for he, she, or it. So it's going to end in an A or an E. Now, unfortunately, there's a few irregulars, so we have to learn these off. There's no other way. So decir, to say or to tell, becomes di. So you'll often hear a Spanish person saying, dime, tell me. Hacer, to do or to make, becomes haz. Ir, to go, becomes be. Oír, to hear, becomes oye. Poner, to put, becomes pon. Ser, to be, becomes se. And notice there's an accent on it. And the reason there's an accent on it, some of you'll probably cop onto it anyway, is because if it didn't, it would mean himself, herself, oneself, itself. Do you remember from the reflexive verbs? Tener, to have, is ten. Venir, to come, is ben. So the rule is, for regular ones, it's your third person singular, your he, she, it. And then you have those irregulars that we have to learn. Now we're going to move on to the vosotros form, which is the you plural form. So this is when you're speaking to more than one person, so a group of people. It's easy enough. All you do is you take the infinitive, so that's the aor, eor, and ior. You drop the or and you add d. So it's simple enough. So for example, hablar, drop the or, put a d, hablaz, and it's pronounced like a th. Speak to more than one person. Comer, to eat, drop the or, put a d, comez. Eat to more than one person. Escribir, drop the or and put a d, escribiz. Write to more than one person. Good news, it says there's no irregulars with the vosotros, you plural form, but we do have reflexive verbs that are a little bit tricky. So we know our reflexive verbs are verbs that we do to ourselves. So for example, lavarse is to wash oneself. And in the present tense, I wash myself, me lavo, you wash yourself, te lavas, he washes himself, se lava, we wash ourselves, nos lavamos, you plural wash yourselves, os laváis, and they wash themselves, se lavan. So that is our normal verb. Now, to make those into orders, we have to do it a little bit differently. So with the two, we do that lavar, you go to the third person, which is laba. So we put down our laba. But the mete say thing goes onto the end and sticks onto the end. Okay, so we'll put that mete say, nos os say, will go at the back at the end and it will stick onto the end. Now, vosotros is a little bit weirder. So we just looked at how we did vosotros, and wash on its own would be lavad, Lavad. But you drop the D, so the D is dropped, and then you put the os afterwards and joined onto it. So os is for you plural. So it's like laba, it's the same as the to form as such. There's no D in it. And then os, which is for you plural. Okay? Then you also have the radical changing reflexive verbs, which is quite confusing. So if we go over here, we have, for example, sentarse, to sit down. So in the to form, it would be sienta, because remember it's radical changing. So sienta, and then we put the te at the end of it. The verb vestirse is radical changing as well. So third person is viste, and then we stick the te on the end of it. To do vosotros, that's the you plural one, it's sentad, would have a D on it if we were to do it normally, and then os added onto it. Vestios, so just os added onto it. So it doesn't do the radical changing for the you plural. Just like we did in the present tense, we never did radical changing for you plural. The same thing happens with this. We don't do radical changing for you plural. So it's the same as kind of the vosotros one, except we've dropped the D. The D is gone, and then we add os onto it. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is this one here, más imperativos, more imperatives. So, ¿qué significan estas frases? What do these sentences mean? So, to translate those sentences as part of your work. Then moving on to the next page at the top, I want you to write in the to form and the vosotros form. So, the you singular and the you plural. And then at the bottom of the page, I want you to expresa lo siguiente en español. So write the following in Spanish. And that is your homework for the next class. If you have any questions, just send an email to me. Okay? Adiós, buena suerte.